Before we dive in, here's another show you can enjoy in the True Story FM family of entertainment podcasts.
Hey, movie lovers, I'm Pete Wright.
And I'm Andy Nelson. We are the hosts of the Next Reel Film Podcast.
If you're passionate about films like we are, you'll love our show. Each week, we dive deep into a movie, discussing everything from the story and performances to the cinematography and score.
Not to mention budgets and awards. We have covered iconic series like Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather trilogy, examining themes of power, family, and the dark side of the American dream.
We've explored the works of groundbreaking directors like Catherine Bigelow, discussing her mastery of tension.
We've looked at heist films, great car chases, great years in film, couples on the run, and more.
Our discussions go beyond the surface, examining what makes each film tick. We believe that when the movie ends, the conversation begins.
And we'd love for you to join that conversation. Find the Next Reel Film Podcast on your favorite podcast app or at thenextreel.com.
The Next Reel. When the movie ends,
our conversation begins.
Oh, there you are. I was hoping I'd cross paths with you today. I'd like to invite you to visit the Storywell. It's a place where storytellers of all stripes gather. From improv performers to authors, screenwriters to playwrights, we all tell stories. But we're not here to talk about craft. We're here to make something out of nothing. Each episode of the podcast, your host, that's me, sits down with a creative person, and based on a series of random prompts, we get elements that we make into a story. Will it be a noir novel about King Kong? Or a Broadway musical about JFK? Even we don't know. That's the fun part. But what do you get out of this besides a good time with fun people? Simple. The idea is then yours. That's right. Whatever we come up with, we give it away for anyone to use however they'd like, no strings attached. It's like each episode comes with a free prize inside. The Storywell with Kyle Olson. We'll save you a seat at the table.
Hello and welcome to Gank That Drink, a supernatural drinking game podcast. It's the podcast where we make up drinking game rules and play along and recap one of our favorite episodes of our favorite show, Supernatural. We then tell you how the episode rules played out. And then we let you know what the drinking game rules are going to be and what the next episode is going to be. That's what we do.
That is what we do.
And we do it consistently.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah. Hey, who's that over there in the corner getting ready to gank some drinks?
Ooh, this is Nate McWhortor, a performer and teacher at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona, home of spontaneous, hilarious, improvised comedy. And who's that? Introducing the show and questioning who I am in the corner. Ganking Drinks.
Ganking Drinks. It's Krissy Lenz, one of the directors over at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona. Super psyched for tonight's episode, because it's a Nate episode, which means that we're on the Chuck wagon again.
Yep, we're back on the Chuck wagon, and we're moving right along. We finished off season 4, and we're starting off with season 5, episode 1, Sympathy for the Devil. And no, that song does not appear in this episode.
No, but there are some good songs in this episode.
There are some tasty jams. The one right out the gate with the little previously on,
which is because it's the beginning of the season. The previously on is hefty.
Oh, it's a whole season 4 recap essentially.
Yeah, basically.
And it is it's to Thunderstruck, which is always a favorite of mine.
Needle drop. Yep.
Love me some Thunderstruck. I don't know if they probably couldn't afford Sympathy for the Devil. I imagine Rolling Stones
pretty expensive.
Don't come. I'm not saying the AC/DC songs are cheap, but
yeah,
my guess is they're a little more affordable for the CW budge than Rolling Stones. That's probably, but it's a great episode title. Obviously, like classic rock, such a huge theme in Supernatural, and so this being the title of the episode being what it is, like I think they nailed it. I think this is a good season premiere. I think if you're coming off the heels of season 4 and you're rolling right into this, whether you're doing it back in what 08, I forget when this aired. I don't have my
09?
notes in front of me. 09. Yeah, that's a cool, like a good way to start it. If you're binging it on Netflix and you roll right into it, it picks up seamlessly. It's almost like it was made for Netflix.
Yeah, it aired on September 10th, 2009.
There we go. I was starting college. We had not yet met.
Nope.
But maybe did you do the show in the street before Green Day? Were you in that show?
The show in the street before
No.
Green Day.
Yeah. The remote. This is how it's not the first time I saw NCT, because I think I saw you guys at Thespian at FestCon. But it was an ASU. It's one you guys had the letter from my old boss on the wall for it for the longest time.
Right.
But yeah, it was like on the street for like the welcome festival or whatever for college for freshmen, and it was 1,000 degrees outside on the hot tarmac, and like the setup was not good. And then that's when you and Dorian went to the secret Green Day show. It was
that's
that
right.
day, because I've heard Dorian tell the story 1,000 times.
1,000 times.
It's burned in my brain.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you were in that show or not.
I probably was home with Zoe until it was time to go to the Green Day show.
That adds up.
Yeah.
That adds up.
Because Zoe would have been just a little baby. She would have been 3.
Yeah, because this was right. This would have been just before you guys were having a rocket.
Yep.
Nice. So yeah, this is the era. This is where we're in. This is Supernatural, literally in its freaking stride, like starting to really stretch its legs, hit its stride. We got angels and demons. Becky says it great in this episode. The demon stuff was getting a little old. Angels is a nice touch. I'm
Becky,
excited.
always the voice for the people.
Exactly. And I love that we end up doing, I think this is our now like 3rd or 4th Becky episode we ended up doing. And you're right. They use her basically as like the mouthpiece of the fan base and stuff.
I love it when Sam's always like, "Can you stop touching me?" And she's like, "No."
No. All right, so let's talk about our rules before we get into this episode.
What are the rules?
Game rules. This is the first one is ouchie noises.
Okay, ouchie noises.
Yes, ouchie noises. The next rule is pop culture references.
Okay.
Which it may be a record for lowest number of pop culture references for when we've had this rule ever.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because my number is so low, and I was like, oh no.
Nope.
I'm missing all of them.
I think it is a record. It was written down early in the episode because there were a couple early and then none happened the rest of the time. And I was like, I'm sure there'll be more. I'll cry. And yeah. We got playing the Sammy rule as always. Playing Son of a Bitch.
Son of a bitch.
When Dean says son of a bitch. The best of all time, being and changing channels, but that's not this episode. Cass mentioned. They're playing that, which is actually fun. Dean has an outburst. Anytime we hear some world reports. Anytime Becky swoons. Anytime someone is mad at Sam. And every time we get creepy devil vision. These are all just one drinkers. No bonuses, no add-ons, no shots tonight, Krissy. Just a straightforward game with a bunch of rules, and most of them only hit a couple times.
Yep. That's how you can tell it's a myth episode.
Exactly. There's no patterns. There's no right. We're just like, and that's why this recap for an episode done by me is going to be hella long. So,
okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to sit back and have you tell me the story of this episode.
This episode has so much in it. So we talked about it already. Our then is not even really a then. It's a Thunderstruck backed recap that is like 2.5 minutes long, going over all of season 4. And yeah, I mean, it's got Chuck introduction and everything in there you could possibly want. It's really good, and it basically picks up right exactly where we left off of season 4 with the portal opening and Lucifer starting to come out, and Sam says, "Dude, he's coming," and then they're trying to get out and they can't get out, and then these are some ouchy noises going on.
Okay. Were those ouchy noises?
At the big when it's like the ringing and the high pitched screeching of Lucifer arriving.
Sure.
Yeah, that I mean, I think when I watched this, when I made the rule, I just had my TV up way too loud for that scene, but like it's the first thing written on my page is ouchie noises. Because and it does happen more than once. So you get it right.
I interpreted it to mean the boys were making ouchie noises, which I guess they were.
Oh, okay. They do at a point. So I'm gonna enjoy this. This will be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I could have explained that better, but I like the ambiguity now.
It's open to interpretation.
Exactly. So yeah, we get some ouchie noises with Lucifer arriving. The boys suddenly we are zapped, and they're on an airplane. We see a cartoon, and it's an old Yosemite Sam cartoon, pop culture reference. Take a drink.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I sneak them in there. But it's like the devil talking to Yosemite Sam, right? So it's this very like on the nose moment. The pilot says we're flying over. I honestly did not write the town down for once and don't remember. And Dean is like, weren't we just there? And it's like, yeah, we were. And then the pilot's like just humming along. This pilot, by the way, looks almost like Nathan Fillion. Like,
okay,
almost slightly looks like he'd be like Nathan Fillion's brother. I don't know who it was, but
I love that they got zapped into a plane, which is like their least favorite place to be, which we assume is the angels doing it, but later we have to assume it's God doing it, which I know you're going to talk us into being Chuck fuckery.
It is completely Chuck fuckery.
But why would he put them in their least favorite place to be?
I honestly think it was just a way to get them out of being next to the devil at first, and then but also I think it took him either like kind of back in time, or like it just since he like sucked him right up to the plane and then maybe didn't anticipate the beam of light and then had to rescue them again, right? Because then they got rescued again.
They get rescued again for sure.
The plane. So like that's what I think. I think.
Well, my interpretation was that the plane didn't crash; that it just like the beam of light went up and disrupted the plane, and then the plane landed.
And the boys just landed because we do cut the supernatural after that, which is more ouchy noises.
Rent a car.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I buy that.
And drive back to Baby.
Yeah, I buy that.
Unless Chuck zapped Baby back to wherever they were landing.
Honestly, the way this episode ends up unfolding, that you can explain that as well. That's the thing about the Chuck quandary. Mm-hmm. And why I guess it's so brilliant that either whether it was planned from this point or not, or whether it just so happened to retroactively fit so gosh dang well, is that and this is I guess the case with anything when you're dealing with like a one single god, right? Which obviously we know that we meet other gods in Supernatural, but they are like
we do
considered more just to be bads and not like obviously Chuck is the big bad at the very end, which his introductory episode literally says monster at the end of this book. So
it's just there's happy little trees. It's happy little coincidences.
Yeah. I think that, and I'll get into it when we get to, I guess, as we get to Chuck appearing, because then I do have, it's so, and I think Rob Benedict plays it almost in a way that's kind of cheeky.
Well, I think he's just a cheeky guy.
Exactly my point, though, is I think they were like, this guy is going to be it's the perfect person and the perfect cover. And I love, all right. Sorry. We're going to get you. We're getting distracted. It's such a long episode. We need to keep going. Otherwise, happy birthday, the recap.
What does that mean?
We start with a big H and then a big A, and then we start running out of room and we have to like squeeze it down. It's it's a blank check reference. They say they do that with their episodes where they happy birthday. They like dive so in on minutia of the first 10 minutes of a movie, and then they have to like quickly get to the
Squeeze
rest
in
and
the
not
rest.
make it a 5-hour podcast because they're already 2. All right, the boys are saved. However, they get off the plane, which had more ouchy noises thanks to the beam of light. The boys are in their rental car, listening to world reports. Take a drink of all of the apocalypse happening. You know, it's major floods, it's hurricanes, it's tornadoes everywhere. Like it's complete War of the Worlds. I did mark they mentioned swine flu. I marked that as a pop culture reference because that would have been like very 2000 like 9 reference. So yeah, that is one I was like, oh, counting it. So a couple drinks in that, but the boys, and then we say Dean says we got to find Cass. Cass mentioned
Take a drink.
Take a drink. They go, and how what's our cheat code these days for finding anyone or anything at any given time? We go to the Prophet Chuck. They go to Chuck's place, and Chuck's place is completely, which Chuck lives in a place called Kripke Manor. I don't know if we've mentioned that before.
We have not.
We've never mentioned that Chuck lives in a place called Kripke Manor.
Nope, but I love it.
Yeah, he does. That's a thing. I don't know if it's Manor. Maybe it's Hollow, Kripke Hollow. That's what it is. Off my memory of reading Wikipedia. Yeah, so they go there. It's a mess. Chuck attacks them.
Yeah, he bonks Sam right in the head with like a candlestick.
Yeah, completely like attacks them. He's freaking out because, of course, the last time we saw him, Cass was being killed in front of him, and that's what he's recapping to the boys. Cass is dead. He was blown to smithereens. There's a molar in my hair. Ew. And while they're having this little powwow, who shows up but good old Zachariah, Kurt Fuller. He ups every performance. Like, you take that season 5 finale, and then he turns this episode up to 11. He is, he's such a guy. When we talk about character actors, there might not be, as far as what their kind of character arc is, and the kind of character they play, and everything, like, Kurt Fuller is one of the best character actors that's been on the show, and is on the show the whole run. And you don't really think of that, you know, obviously he doesn't have a super long arc compared to like a Crowley, you know, or I think even like a Ruby or something like that. So people don't, or one of our Wayward Sisters, but he does as good of a job. I think he delivers like a more dynamic performance than Jeffrey Dean Morgan does as John. Not that they give him a lot to work with, but I just want to say it. I want to take this episode right here, and all the Kurt Fuller episodes we've watched so far and talked about, this one shines. He's intense, he's terrifying, he's scary, he's sarcastic. I don't think they could have cast a better person for this role.
Yeah, I agree.
Here's to you, Kurt Fuller, an ode to Zachariah, the character.
We raise a glass. Clink.
I really like this. I really like this character because you have Cass, who we're so still kind of wishy-washy on. Is he good? Is he bad? Whose side is he on? Is he an agent of God? Is he actually exhibiting free will? And then we just get this perfect asshole angel. Perfect.
Yeah.
With a face you love to hate. Like, in a good way. I say that in a good way, but like, you know, just like a face that's like easy to be like, ugh.
Here's this guy again.
This guy in his face. I just don't. It's just, and he's always unhappy. So yeah, I love it. So he shows up, and somehow the boys. I don't know. I needed to go back and look if there was a jump cut in the conversation with Chuck or not. Because when did they draw the sigil? When did they cut themselves and draw the blood sigil to get rid of the angels?
Yeah, when did he do it?
When? Because they sneak into Chuck's place, he whacks them, they start talking, angels show up. There was zero time for any knife slicing of hand and blood to be drawn upon the wall.
Maybe they did it before they ran into Chuck.
Chuck was
We
in
didn't
the
see it.
house.
We didn't see it for
happened off
sure.
camera.
Yeah.
The old happened off camera sigil drawing. That should be. We need to do that rule.
Also, does Dean have a photographic memory? He only saw Cass do that once.
Yeah, this is early on. They don't have a lot of practice at it. I don't know. But he does mention Cass. Cass mentioned. I learned that from my friend Cass. You son of a bitch. So we get 2 drinks right back to back.
Yay.
Okay. Cut 2. A lonely man walking home at night. We don't know this guy.
We don't know this.
No.
We don't know this Mark Pellegrino yet.
No, we don't. And I forget what. Somewhere in Delaware, Connecticut, something. Yeah, sure. Some sort of Eastern Seaboard state.
Okay.
Is what it said. And he comes home and like. I didn't count this as a vision because it's just like I think it's the presence of Lucifer is like making the gate go crazy in the windmills, and he's kind of like, huh? But then we is this where we actually do get up to? Yeah, we cut up to the house, and he's asleep, and he wakes up in his bed, and he's covered in blood, and he's like, oh man, get it together, holy crap! And we can clearly tell something traumatic has happened to this man.
Yeah.
And then he turns over in his bed, and there's his dead wife, like all cut up and in the bed with him. So take a drink for creepy devil visions. Creepy devil visions. Cut 2. Becky.
Becky writing some saucy fan fiction.
As Dean reached for Sam's clavicle, just said, "This isn't right. If this is wrong, I don't want to be right." She's so good.
So creepy though.
So creepy. This is a wild sequence to do, right? Intro of who we come to know as Lucifer, as Lucifer's vessel, and then intro of Becky, right? Because this is Becky's
Becky, whose screen name is Sam Liquor 81.
Sam Liquor 81 on. No, but that's her screen name on like Chuck's like porn like chat room or whatever. Because like he's not in like the supernatural chat rooms or whatever. She went and found him, Carver Edlund, in like his like weird sex chat rooms. Ugh. Their whole conversation.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's yeah, because the way she says it, she's like, I'm your biggest fan. She's like, I'm Sam Liquor 81 from, and then she like says the website or whatever, and it's like, because it has been established that Chuck enjoys calling call girl services and the phone sex chat lines and that kind of stuff. Which again,
I thought it was some kind of supernatural website because I thought it was like Brothers Together or something like that.
No, it's definitely like some sort of saucy
something porny
name.
Okay.
Some sort of, yeah.
Okay.
And again, she says it like in a whisper almost, where she's like, "This is me. Like, I know where you hang out." Basically, like I know what you do, because his whole thing is the anonymity of Carver, of being Chuck, or versus Carver. But again, this is where so it's Chuck's line of "I'm being watched, I think." And this is where I'm just like, no. You're not being. If you were being watched, they would totally hear this. This would be a terrible idea. You just shouldn't do this. But for you to be like, I think I'm being watched, because you know you're not, because you're God.
Not yet.
They totally know it. This is all in the works. This is all, the fix is in from here, from before here. It's, yeah. I think I'm 90% sure that this has been the plan from the beginning. Was it this character? If we got to this point, because maybe it wasn't like from the beginning, but if we got to this point to introduce this character, and they go such a long time before bringing him back, I don't know. I guess that's the one hole in it, is that he goes missing for many seasons. is that not what they claim God does? Just goes missing and F's off until whatever. Okay, back to the episode. Becky, she whatever I will do. She's like, I knew it was real, because he's like, it's all real, it's all real. She's like, I knew it. I need you to get the message to Sam and Dean, but I'm being watched. So we cut to the boys in a hotel. Becky arrives. She knocks on the door. She starts swooning over Sam. Oh my gosh, you're the real Sam Winchester, and you are not what I expected, is what she
Right.
says to Dean as he sits there incredulous on the bed. Dean also was listening, before we get to Becky coming in, Dean was listening to World Reports on the TV, and he says, he says something like, can it wavy gravy, which I just assume was a pop
He
culture
says,
reference I didn't get.
Cram it with walnuts, ugly.
Oh, he says cram it with walnuts, ugly. I thought
Which is oh no, he does say something about wavy gravy too.
Right. He says that to Fuller.
He does.
In the scene.
You're right.
Before.
You're right.
But yeah, he says something about wavy gravy. So I was like, oh, that's probably a pop culture reference I just don't get. And is the cram it with walnuts, is that a reference I don't get?
It's a Simpsons reference.
Of course. Why not? See, so we probably will have a similar pop culture, because I think I missed a couple that you got. All right, here we go. Okay, so Becky tells the boys that you need to find the Sword of Michael. It's on the castle on a hill of 42 dogs, whatever that means. And the boys decide, all right, thanks, Becky, for this weird message, as she keeps touching Sam and not letting go. And swoons. I don't even know how many I marked on the Becky swoons. We'll talk about it at the end, but
okay.
Yeah, so the boys call Bobby. Why not? We get hugs all around. I almost did drinking game rule just for hugs, but I think it just happens the one time.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's significant, but it only happens once.
But it means a lot, because you don't see it a lot.
Although we later find out it's a demon hugging them.
So yeah, Bobby is coming in to save the day, brings all the right lore, just happens to have lying around about the Michael sword and what it is. They're trying to rack their brains, what's going on. We get this moment between Sam and Bobby where Sam says, Bobby, it was me. I started the apocalypse because I was drinking demon blood, hanging out the ruby, and Lilith was the seal, and I broke it. Blah, 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 blah. And Bobby is like, boy, you better lose my number. And it's like this really odd, strange, completely out of left field reaction for Bobby, right?
Yeah.
That is not Bobby at all. And you can even see
Nope.
they could do the shot of Dean behind Bobby, which is half in agreement with the things that Bobby is saying, and half geez, he's really laying it on thick. This doesn't seem like it's Bobby, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know how Jensen Ackles managed that face. How you can so clearly convey those two thoughts at one time with just his simple, beautiful face. But
when you have a beautiful face.
But he did it.
He did it.
It's a little mind blowing. There's so many little moments in this episode that are just like, man, this show's so good. They do a really good job. There's some episodes where it's phoned in, but some of these are really, really good. All right. Dean, as their Bobby lashes out, and then Sam's like, I'm gonna go see if there's any lore books at the church nearby.
Yeah. I'll get out of here. I'll get out of your hair. Everyone's mad at me.
The way they remove some of the justifications they make for getting rid of people or whatever. Everyone's mad at Sam. Take drinks. And as they're sitting there, Bobby is talking about, he's just saying I never thought your dad'd be right, that you'd have to kill Sam, da 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 da. And Dean is kind of what? Okay, weird. Oh, dad. Oh, I just happen to remember this random storage unit thing, a card.
And the card is right on top.
Right there. Here it is. It's the castle's storage shed place in New York at 42 Rover Hill. It's a castle on a hill of 42 dogs. Oh my gosh. And then Bobby's like, oh, that should be good enough. And then he decks Dean, and we have a big old fight between Bobby and Dean, and we like have a commercial break in between, and it's a big old showdown. Yeah, and as Bobby's / demon Bobby is cleaning up, we get an entrance from a couple of their demons, and it's one of our old faves.
Rachel Miner.
It's Meg!
Played by Rachel Miner.
And yeah, she's all like with the demon that's in Bobby, and they're basically like, cool, now we know where the Michael sword is. Let's get after it. But first we're gonna kill you, and we're gonna like make Bobby do it. Which doesn't go well because Bobby's inside and he fights it. And he fights the demon from the inside, and he stabs himself in the leg with the ruby knife, causing the demon to zap out. Then that gives Dean a puncher's chance, and then Sam comes in, and we get a Sammy here, which is actually our second Sammy. I missed the
It's
one
our second
earlier.
Sammy. Yep.
But yeah, we get a Sammy here from Meg, and it's a good. There's like a whole lot of talking that goes on. This weird. It's like a fight scene / a lot of expo, and yeah. So Meg, they're trying to get out. She's like, I don't even remember honestly what her actual motive is. I think just like
to get the Michael sword.
But like for the demons, so that the demons can follow Lucifer. Oh yeah, she says we're dreaming. I'm like, she's got like a little monologue. I didn't write it down, but it was like, oh yeah, we're finally dreaming again. Like, so they're all horned up for Lucifer getting here, basically, all the demons. So yeah, she ends up smoking out because when Sammy gets in, like, I don't know, she smokes out. That's how it goes down. We cut back to Nick and another devil vision, and these are
creepy baby stuff.
Disturbing, creepy baby stuff. Crib full of blood, like the monitor, like cooing or whatever, crying on the monitor. It just, they do good. They do creepy well. They do funny well. They do creepy well. Like, good job. Yeah. So we get this whole vision, and we're still like, boy, this poor sucker doesn't know what he's in for. Cut back to the boys. They're taking Bobby to the hospital. And the hospital's like, wait, you gotta stick around. And they're like, no, we gotta go to storage unit in New York because a bunch of demons are gonna get there first. Bye. We think he has insurance. I don't know. So they drive up to New York, and of course the angels beat him there, took out the demons. Zachariah is like, we planted this bit of prophecy in Chuck's head to send you on this wild goose chase because the demons didn't know that they already had the Michael sword right in front of them. The sword is you, Chucklehead.
Yeah, I love that he calls him a chucklehead.
Yes, because that's Dean's line.
Yeah,
that's his favorite insult, other than douche.
And you can tell that he's getting fed up with now that he needs Dean, but he doesn't like need Dean. You know, he's like he needs them, but he's fed up.
Yeah,
he's hit his limit.
That's right. We're getting peak Fuller now, because he is getting angry. He starts to hurt the boys. He breaks Sam's leg. And he's like, I can break the other one just as easily. You should probably say yes. You're the vessel. You're the ultimate vessel. You're the only thing that Michael can sustain being in. And the war needs to happen. We must fight Lucifer. And Dean is like, cram it. No, F off. Screw you. Every time. And he even offers to like heal Bobby, and he's like, nope. And he's like, cool, how about, do you want stomach cancer stage 4? And Dean's like, no. And he's like, how about Sam doesn't have lungs now? And then a flash of light, and who is it?
It's Castiel.
Yay!
Pew 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 pew.
Yay! Cass not just mentioned. Cass arrives.
Misha
Stabs
Collins,
a whole
baby.
bunch of angels. He's angry AF. He's like, I was dead. Now I'm not. Not gonna be the first time, or not gonna be the last time this happens to you, buddy.
Nope.
But
First of many.
first of many times, homie. He's like, I'm back. He's stabby stab, and he like yells at Zachariah. I mean, like, really yells. Basically, says it wasn't angels who pulled these boys, from to the plane. Who put these boys on that plane?
And it wasn't angels that saved him.
And it wasn't angels that saved me. And then that's when Zachariah's like, oh, it must be God. Chuck. Chuck. He wasn't even surprised that the molar was in his hair. That's, again, like, I'm just, okay, I'm off it. I just, like, flash back to his scene. I'm like, what? So, all the tells are there.
Okay.
I swear, one of these days, we're going to get one of these showrunners on here, and we're gonna grill him. I'm going to grill him on it.
Okay. That's a good plan.
I'm going to hold their feet to the coals. I'm going to say, when? When did you know?
When did you know?
Tell me.
Where are the drugs?
Yeah. So Cass tells Fuller to go away, tells Zachariah to go away, and he does. Because he's like, I don't know what, like, I'm gonna stab you too or something. That was interesting. I'm surprised he left. I felt like that was primed for a showdown. Like, I feel like that's where we just fight, but I guess not. I guess fight another day. Cass then carves an Enochian sigil into the boy's ribs, thus hiding them from any angels, including Cass. Did I ever get rid of those?
No, in fact, think they get more as time goes on.
Even though, like, they're constantly. Well, I guess. Anyway. Cut back to Nick. This scene, this is kind of the climax of the episode right here.
Yeah.
This is this long scene with Nick and with his dead wife, who we learn was killed by a home intruder, along with their small infant child. The wife, Krissy, you have the wiki in front of you, and I have not been able to, like, type in front of my face all night. Can you tell me who played the wife?
Yes, give me a second.
Okay, I will continue talking about this scene. She is not his wife, though. She is an angel. I'm an angel called Lucifer. And I love his response. Can you just remind me to quit drinking before I go to bed?
Yeah.
Bellamy
Bellamy Young. Bellamy Young is her name.
Small but effective and great, and yeah, really portrayed that, like, angelic but also very sinister kind of tone at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's only a few people in this whole show who get to play Lucifer, essentially, and she's one of them, and I think she does a great job. So she says, I wrote down, here's my notes. I'm just a poor little angel who loved God too much.
Yup, she gives him a line, baby.
I'm just a poor little angel. What is my crime? I love God too much. And how could he let that man take your baby and your child from you? And because Nick's doing good. He's like, why would I say yes to you? Like, why the hell? You're the devil. Like, I'm not. And he's like, but am I the devil? I'm not really the devil. I'm just your wife.
It doesn't take much convincing.
Yeah, not really. I mean, this guy always got it. That's the whole thing. Is like, is Lucifer worms his way in through insecurities and doubts and whatever. That's like, this is per the lore. This is accurate. This is a man struggling with a lot of stuff and has his own demons, if you will, and so Lucifer is going to take advantage of that. Now we also know that this is not Lucifer's ideal vessel. So this poor guy and did not lie to him. Did say it will be unpleasant for you.
Right.
Like there, and literally says, "I do not, contrary to popular belief, I don't lie," and I can say that Lucifer did not lie to Nick. Yeah, and yeah, it. I just need you to say yes, as it said, as the God is either sadistic or does not care. Okay, again, if we're looking at lines, that I'm like, man, if you can point this back to Chuck in this moment, God is either sadistic or does not care. I think Chuck is both.
He's sadistic and he does not care.
Correct. I think if you take the aspect that they knew all along that this was God and that Chuck is just playing with all these people like his own little personal toys, which is a thing that I think Amara later accuses him of doing, correct? Possibly,
Right.
I think.
Right. Yes.
Like, and what he even almost admits, he literally in season, which we'll get to, will admit that like, I'll turn this whole thing off. I'll unplug the Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll go do this on Pluto. I don't need you guys. So that's where this line, it's a little bit, it's the cheekiness of Rob Benedict and how he plays all this stuff. Not that he would have even been, who knows if he would have been privy to, if they did know, if he would have been privy, like, you're gonna play this guy, he's a prophet, but also he's God. Like, who knows? But like, this line, God is either sadistic or does not care, really kind of struck me as this what's going to be this overarching question, kind of especially in this season, but then we get to Metatron, we get to all sorts of seasons later on. All right, we're almost done, Krissy. We're almost there. It's been a long episode. It's been such a long episode. Nick says yes. We get the beam of light. I guess we can count that as an ouchie noise. I didn't, but we can count it. Did you? So you counted when the boys are being hurt by
Yes,
Zachariah?
that's what I counted.
Ouchie noise is fun.
Yeah.
Or when like Bobby punches Dean or whatever.
No, I just mostly counted when they were like, oh, ow.
Nice. All right, boys go back to Bobby. Bobby is like screaming at the doctor. He calls him a yahoo because he says he's never going to walk again. She probably wouldn't have if it weren't for some divine intervention. All right. Or other intervention. So Bobby, we have some BM scene in the hospital. Bobby tells Sam, I ain't cutting you out, boy. I was awake for that. I just want you to know that's not, and like we all know.
That wasn't me.
We know.
Yeah, we know.
We believe you. We're good. We're square. And then we get out to the car. We get out to Baby, and this is where Dean and Sam really have it out. Where Dean finally lets his feelings be known. I am mad at you. I can't trust you. You betrayed me. You were my one. You were my guy. You were my rock, and you just went off with someone else. Even though I tried to save you, tried to stop you, and tried to tell you were making mistakes, you just went against me. And like you've always gone against me. You went to Stanford. I mean, we unloaded a lot here, a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't think you said the Stanford bit, but like it's implied. It's always implied. And yeah, he can't forgive or forget, and he can't trust him anymore. That's what he says. And so it's a kind of a heart-wrenching ending to this episode. I mean, you get
very abrupt. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Sympathy for the devil.
Sympathy for the devil.
It goes right into 5-2. But I think we will get to that. I think Chuck is also in that one. So, yeah. How did the rules play out, Krissy?
I think we're going to have vastly differing numbers on these, so I can't wait to get into it.
Always fun. All right, ouchie noises. I counted
I got 4.
Okay, all right. I would say you could add a third in there, I think, because I missed the one if you count the one at the very end. But yeah, 4 per yours, 3 per mine. That's not bad. Pop culture references.
I got 3.
I have 4.
Okay, so not that far off.
Yeah. You have 2 Sammys.
2 Sammys.
I only have 1 son of a bitch.
One son of a bitch.
I could have swore there was another one in there, which is why I wrote it down. But you know what? I like it. It's a classic. And actually, I think it's the son of a bitch is followed by Chuck saying, "This sucks ass," which I think is like an unofficial kind of like a supernatural slogan that multiple characters use at a time. So, Cass mentioned 4 times.
I got 5.
5. All right. Dean outbursts. I got 2.
I got 4.
Oh, see, I think I down the stretch kind of missed some real outbursts. I think then I didn't add it on the last one because I was writing my notes. World reports. I got 2. One on the radio. One on the TV.
I got 2. Yep, same.
Becky swoons 3 times.
I got 2.
I counted Chuck at the beginning when she kind of.
I counted she swooned for Chuck and then she swooned for Sam.
Oh, I see. I counted Sam multiple, twice in the interact, at first and then, at the end, kind of just 2 different swoons. Okay. Someone's mad at Sam. I counted 4 times.
Oh, I got 2.
I wonder if, because I know I probably counted when when
I got Bobby and Dean.
Bobby and Dean, but I think Meg gets mad at Sam. I don't remember why I marked 4, but I marked 4 times.
Okay.
Maybe it's Zachariah.
See, I thought Zachariah was happy of what Sam did.
Yeah. I think maybe I counted Meg, and then I don't. Or I don't know. Or I'm making stuff up. Who knows? I should have. I don't know why. I thought I wrote everything. I tried so hard to write down every single drink this time, and I can't find it. All right. Last one. Creepy devil visions.
I got 4.
I have 4 as well.
Yay! Nice. We did it.
That was a fun game. I mean, there's
yeah.
20-ish drinks in there. But Krissy, as I flip my pages right next to the microphone for everyone to hear, what episode are we doing next?
Okay, we're zooming to season 9, episode 13, The Purge.
Oh.
Are you ready for your rules for season 9, episode 13, The Purge?
I am ready.
Okay. Take a drink anytime someone says family. Take a drink anytime fat gets sucked. Take a drink for Donna-isms. So anytime she's like, don't you know?
Mm-hmm.
Take a drink if Sam snoops. Take a drink for a pop culture reference. Take a drink if someone says suction. Take a drink if someone says cupping. Take a drink for pudding. Take a drink if someone dies. And take a drink for a BM scene, for a boy melodrama scene.
I love this episode. We haven't done this one for real. I feel like
we haven't done it.
Talked about it a lot.
Nope, it's Donna's first episode. It's our introducing to.
Did we do it for Comic-Con?
Nope, we've never done it for anything.
Dang, we should do it for Comic-Con.
We should. It's a gross episode. It's gross.
I'm so excited. I love this episode so much.
Awesome.
I remember you telling me what it was going to be, and then you said the name of it, and I was like, which one is that? But then as soon as you said fat gets sucked, I was like, oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I do recall now.
All right. So here we are at the end. It's time to do some pluggaroos. Hey, if you're here with us at the end, please do all of the things for our podcast that help us out with the podcast. Please like, rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend, spread the word, do all those things. They help us out so much. We appreciate you. If you want a little more chit chat, a little more get to know ya with Nate and Krissy, And if you want episodes a week early and without any ads, please consider joining the membership club. Become a member. It's just $5 a month or $55 for the whole year. And you get all those perks, as well as just you support us. You support the pod. You support the fandom. You support Nate and Krissy, Gankin' and Drankin'. We appreciate you so much that you would consider doing that. And Nate, where can people find us in the real world?
The people can find us in the real world at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona, on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday nights at 7:30. But get there before then, because it's annoying when people walk into a show late.
Yeah, don't come late.
Yeah, don't come.
Well,
late.
I mean, better come late than not come at all.
True.
But come on time.
But like, yeah, try your hardest to be on time. Parking is not terribly convenient at the moment, and I don't mean to say that as a way to dissuade anyone from going, but I just want people to be aware.
The one perk, that parking can be hard to find, yes, but it is free.
Completely free. It's not like one of those places where you go and you gotta then pay a thing, and so it's free parking, but you pay with just slight inconvenience from being, super close to where we are located.
It's true.
Yeah. But that's what you get when you're on a downtown, a major street with a lot of foot traffic and a hip cosmopolitan. I couldn't get through.
Vibe.
I couldn't get through that word.
Cosmopolitan vibe.
With honesty. No, but downtown Mesa is really dope. It's really awesome. It's growing. It's changing. There's a lot of cool things happening and doing it. Come visit downtown Mesa.
Yeah,
cosmopolitan.
do it.
That laugh was more about the word cosmopolitan, not that Mesa isn't cool.
Okay. So when you're out there in the world saving people and hunting things, the family business, be sure to keep the Gank That Drink motto in mind. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. What's up, Supernatural Superfans?
It's Nate and Krissy, your hosts of
Gank That Drink, the Supernatural Drinking Game Podcast.
It's the podcast where we make up drinking game rules for a favorite episode of our favorite show, Supernatural.
We recap the episode for you and let you know how all the rules played out.
Then we let you know the drinking game rules for the next episode, so you can play along.
But we want to talk to you today about becoming an exclusive member of Gank That Drink, a Supernatural Drinking Game Podcast.
Becoming a member is just $5 a month. It's easy to do, and it helps keep the podcast going, bringing you more fresh drink to gank. Or gank to drink, whatever.
One of those two. Plus, members get every episode early and ad-free.
With some extra bonus content at the end of each episode as a member exclusive.
We play games, we talk trivia, we chat about what we were watching besides Supernatural.
We talk about our lessons learned from each episode, and sometimes give you a geographical zoom in on the towns or areas the episodes take place in.
We have fun! Ha 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 ha. And we gank those drinks, and we want you to be a part of it.
So join us and become a member at truestory.fm/Gank That Drink.
And when you're out there in the world saving people and hunting things,
the family business.
Keep the Gank That Drink motto in mind. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.